All right, welcome back. Just as I told you, of course, a very important conference is set to take place in Japan from Saturday to Tuesday. And of course, it's the 5th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, celebrating 20 years since its inception back in 1993. To tell us more about that, of course, is Japanese Ambassador to Kenya. That is Toshihisa Takata. Welcome to the Power Breakfast Show. Welcome. Of course, this is not the first time you've been here, once especially when we were talking about the tsunami blow. Perhaps let's start from there. Have you recovered? It's been 2 years now.
Yes, well, we have been exerting our utmost efforts for rebuilding the nation. But of course, this is a very, very huge task. Perhaps mainly I can describe 3 aspects of recovery. One is the rebuilding of the communities which were directly affected. And they are recovering, but at the same time, it takes time to rebuild more resilient communities which have to recover from the earthquake and tsunami. Second is maybe national economy or supply chains of the economies. That aspect, I think I can say it's almost 100% back to normal. Third aspect is longer or medium and longer term rebuilding or building a resilient society related to our community as a whole, and also maybe power supply. This, although we have been exerting our efforts, but at the same time, still challenges remain.
Let's talk about the conference. 1993, you decided, let's establish this international conference to focus on African development. Tell us a bit about that.
I think looking back at the early 1990s, perhaps in the aftermath of the end of the Cold War, and perhaps the many development partners, we had a kind of phenomena of aid fatigue, maybe. And also globally, and also in Africa itself, the dominant feeling was rather pessimism rather than optimism for the future of African development. And in this context, or against this background, Japan initiated this process of TICAD, which emphasized the importance of Africa and the importance of, say, mobilizing our wisdom and resources for the development of Africa.
All right. To whose benefit? I mean,
I think
if you look in terms of trade or even aid, so partnerships you call it.
Yes, yes.
To whose benefit? I mean, Japan is interested in its citizens. You're interested in trade in Kenya. You're interested in trade in Africa. Are you saying that this conference is about charity?
No, no, no. Of course not.
It's about what?
Well, this is about Africa, and also Africa's development is, of course, the important thing for all of us, the entire world.
Why?
Why?
What about Japanese development?
Well, Japan is also, well, we are very much interested in our own interest. Africa, huge human resources, their full potential, realization of full potential of African people is in itself good for Africa, and also it's good for us. And resources, Africa is rich in resources. And
to be exploited by Japan
exploitation
and America
and sustainable
to the detriment of the African.
No,
take for instance DRC,
yes.
Huge country, huge resources, very poor, misgoverned, misdirected by Japan, Europe, America.
So TICAD is also the forum to discuss about the more wise, perhaps, and sustainable use of utilization of those resources for the benefit of Congo people, as well as for the rest of the world people.
Yeah, but back in 2008, during the Tokyo International Conference in Africa, there was a pledge that was made that in 2013, Japan would double development assistance, trade and investment to Africa. Is that happening?
Yes. Well, actually, yes. one of the, I think, good characteristics of the TICAD process is that we have a very good monitoring mechanisms among all the participants, African countries and Japan and international organization and others. And Japan made a commitment, for example, as you said, doubling our official development assistance to Africa as compared with the previous 5 years of TICAD 4, that is from 1998, 2003 to 2008, and then double the amount of that figure. And we have attained to that goal within the context of that monitoring mechanisms. Mm-hmm. And other things is also we have pledged to help the government to help double the Japanese direct investment in African countries. That has been achieved.
And tell us who are taking part in this TICAD of this year and the theme. What is they going to discuss? We know our Deputy President and our Secretary to Foreign Affairs. They have already gone to talk.
Actually, yeah, His Excellency, yes, His Excellency Deputy President Ruto has already left, and I think by now he must have arrived in Japan. And Foreign Minister Honorable Amina Mohammed, unfortunately for some other urgent matter, she has to stay in this country. Yeah. Well, TICAD is, I think, twin character. That is, for one, TICAD is a forum for high-level policy dialogues for African development. And second, it is a forum to mobilize resources for African development. And this year's TICAD, I think, well over 40 African leaders, heads of state and heads of government will be attending. The rest of African countries, ministers are attending. The very high-level participants of the United international organizations, for example, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon is attending, Madame Helen Clark of UNDP, administrator attending, and also high-level representative of other development partners, business leaders, and civil society organization representatives. And I'm very happy and grateful that Kenya is represented by.
Is there any specific matter they are going to discuss this year?
The theme of this year's TICAD 5 is the overarching theme is hand in hand with a more dynamic Africa. And under this theme, we have 3 sub-themes. One is the robust and sustainable economy. Second is the inclusive and resilient society. And third one is peace and stability. I think these themes are, well, first of all, is a reflection of the changing situation of Africa for the past 20 years, and also as a result of the very intensive preparation for the past 1 year or so among participants, African countries, Japan, and international organizations.
Yeah, just talking about the significance of Kenya being part of the conference, if I may take you back to an article you wrote in 2011, you said, collaborating with Kenya to implement the new constitution is your way of showing solidarity with Kenya. How have you managed to do that with regard to the political atmosphere in the country?
Well,